My name is Annika Olson, and I'm with the Puyallup Watershed Initiative Active Transportation Community of Interest. I'll be introducing a community interview project that we conducted under the Plan4Health grant, and I'm going to provide a little bit of background on the interview project, why we chose to use interviews, under the Plan4Health grant, we selected 3 communities or 3 priority jurisdictions that we would work within the watershed to support policy change related to active transportation. And we knew that the approach in each community would probably look a little bit different. In each community, we conducted an initial policy scan to better understand what the existing policies are. And then we worked with our contacts in each community to figure out what type of tool that we would use moving forward. So in PUYALLUP, we chose to conduct an interview process, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about PUYALLUP and why we chose that specific tool for this community. So just, again, a little background about the active transportation landscape in PUYALLUP. So PUYALLUP is a small community of almost 40,000 people, and it's located between Seattle and Tacoma. From an infrastructure perspective, PUYALLUP has several very strong assets related to active transportation, including a signature riverfront trail and a pretty dense walkable downtown. It also has some challenges or barriers to folks using active modes. There are very few on-street bike facilities and a fairly suburban street grid outside of the downtown that can make it challenging to access downtown. But because of some of those strong assets and there being an interest in active transportation, we identified in our work with the city a need to continue to support some of the work that they were doing around promoting culture change around using active modes. There's a very active trail stewardship group in town, but the city identified a need for increased engagement and increased partnerships with different groups to help support some of the programs and events to support active transportation community-wide. So from that, we realized that doing interviews would provide an opportunity for us to help to sort of do some of that engagement work and help build new partnerships. So in our interview process, we crafted an initial list of stakeholders that we thought should be represented, and we did that with discussion with the city. And after we put together that initial list, as we started to interview folks, we identified additional people or additional groups or stakeholders that we wanted to talk with and learn more from. So you can see on the slide that we talked to mostly community members, community organizations, and then a handful of agency or governmental folks, as they have a hand in promoting a lot of the different active transportation programs that currently do exist in PUYALLUP. So in the interviews, we asked questions designed to really draw on personal experience and draw out some of the qualitative data that we could only get from doing interviews. So we asked about people's personal experiences using active transportation. We asked about organizations that people were involved in related to or doing work around active transportation. For some organizations that we interviewed, we asked them about the populations or communities that they were serving and the active transportation needs that some of those communities might have. We talked about or we asked about gaps in infrastructure or barriers that people might experience to active transportation. We asked people about ideas that they had for programs or events or new partnerships. And then we asked people who else should be involved and who else should be interviewed throughout the process. So interviews were the right approach for us for gathering different kinds of data. So it was a way to sort of do some social or organizational mapping and learn about what existing programs and events were in place. It was an opportunity for us to add new voices and engage new potential partners, and in particular identifying and engaging community members who might be outside of the sort of usual suspects who might normally show up to a public meeting. We were able to gain some qualitative insight about what's currently working in PUYALLUP and what's not working in PUYALLUP related to active transportation. And we also gained some quotes that we'll be able to pass along to the city for them to use in some of their future work with City Council. As a final product, we generated or are generating a final report that will provide some of the qualitative findings from the interviews, and the city will use that report internally as well as sharing it back out to the groups that we interviewed. PUYALLUP Watershed Initiative, our active transportation COI, will continue to use the document to inform our work in PUYALLUP and to continue to assist with growing community engagement around active transportation. If you'd like to learn any more about the work that the active transportation community of interest does, please visit our website for more information.